All right, I suspect we're live. Hi, everybody. I know this isn't exactly ideal, but I left my desktop where I have all my OBS settings set up perfectly up at school, so we're just gonna have to work with this for now. If there's anything you want to see or talk about, feel free to put it in the chat, and we can take a look at it. And don't forget that partway through the stream, we will have a Raspberry Pi to give away. And these are rare creatures these days, so stick around for that. Alrighty. So, luckily here, it's been a busy week. Spring break this week, so that's been nice to have a little break. I could not get multiple cameras set up properly in OBS, so we're going to have to make do with one. Got a little test board here to do some demonstrations on. My brother was kind enough to have it all wired up for me today. So we've got this bulb here, stays on all the time. It's wired into a smart outlet, which will be coming soon. Got a switch that controls the bottom leg here, where I've got a motion switch, which is also coming soon, and one of our cloud-free smart light bulbs, running Tasmota, of course. I'm hoping to demonstrate yet today using WLED to control the cloud-free smart bulb, which unlocks some really cool lighting effects. Depends on how things go, and I'm using an old computer that's sitting around, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh boy. Certainly not ideal. Sorry for the somewhat unprofessional quality. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get going on WLED here so we can see what we can do. So if you go to, let's see here, here's our site. If you go to our blog, I wrote a little blog post about it. So essentially, a guy named Tony from Indiana up by Purdue, nice guy, he added DDP support to Tasmota. And DDP is essentially just a protocol for sending lighting effects either over a network. And so what you can do is install WLED. Because the bulbs only have a 1 meg flash size, you can't actually fit WLED on the bulbs themselves, but you can put WLED on a little ESP32 development board here and use this to control the bulbs over DDP and unlock all kinds of effects. We can take a look at the effects here. Right here. Alright, so this is the WLED website. They've got 120-ish, I believe, 117 effects going on here. You can make it look like a TV's on, blended colors, candy canes, police. It's pretty wild all they have included here. I actually have it set up at my apartment. I've got about 5 bulbs in the living room because there's no main lighting in the living room right now. and I have it set to, at a certain time, turn on and have a candle flicker effect, which is kind of pleasant. Let's see, check the chat. All right. So what we need to do here, first I'm going to go ahead and flash the Tasmota light bulb firmware onto the bulb. This is a newer version that includes the DDP software. So let's see, where do I have that bulb at? It is at 250. 250. We can just copy this link right into here. Should be able to. And upgrade that bulb. Doesn't take terribly long, but essentially what's going on in the background, first Tasmota downloads a minimal version of the firmware due to memory space constraints. So it downloads a smaller version of the firmware, flashes it first, and then after the minimal firmware is flashed, then it moves on to the firmware that you gave it. So it takes a little longer than normal. Let's see, look in the console and see what we've got going on. It's being a little pokey. I'm not sure why. Might have some network problems going on. Yesterday, okay, there we go. So it did update to the minimal firmware. And now it's probably working on upgrading to the DDP version that we have compiled on our firmware site. I hope I'm live. If anybody wants to throw something in the chat, questions, comments, concerns, just let me know I'm I'm doing this right. I would appreciate it. While it's working on that, let's go ahead and flash WLED on this ESP32 board. So what we're going to need here is in the WLED documentation. Typically they make this super simple with, there's a project that ESP Home came out with, ESP Web Tools, so that you're supposed to be able to flash any ESP board straight from your web browser, which should be super convenient. But, so I've got Firefox open right now. Apparently it's not supported there. Typically I'm using Brave. It doesn't work there either. And I have tried Chromium as well, and not had a whole lot of luck. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of configuration issues I have going on there, but that's okay. ESP tool in the command line is just as easy to use. Maybe not quite as convenient, but. All right, so we just have to download the binary. ESP32. Might need the bootloader file too. I'm not sure. I know Tasmota has some firmware versions. So essentially the ESP32, it used to be everywhere that you had to flash both a bootloader file, I think there was another file in between, and then the actual firmware itself afterwards. Tasmota has a few builds that include everything at once, which is so much easier to deal with. But I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, it looks like I have to flash both here with WLED. So I'll open a terminal here and we'll see what we can do. hopefully I've got the right cable. There's a few cables floating around the house that don't include data lines, which is ridiculous. Drives me nuts. They should not exist. But we'll see what we've got. Hopefully ESP Tool is installed. Okay, good. Actually, let's first go into the downloads folder where we've got what we just did here. ESP Tool. First, we're going to do this bootloader step here. Ah, heck. There we go. Let's pin that to the top. Perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to plug the ESP32 board into the computer while holding the IO0 button. I'm not going to release it until it starts. Hopefully. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so that's that. Now we just need to flash the WLAD release file, which will be almost the same command, but we'll be working with different address space, of course. 234. And then we'll be, there we go. Alright, I'm not going to hold any of the buttons down this time and see what happens. Oh, perfect. Came up with it right away. Hey Adam, how you doing? Good to see you here. Finally confirmed that I'm actually live, so that's good. I was a little concerned there for a little bit. Alright, let's check in on our light bulb, see how it's doing. We just updated it to the DDP version, and it appears successful. Yep, we're now on 11.0.0.3, which I think is the latest version that I have compiled on the Cloud-Free firmware site. So let's pull up this side by side so we can see what we're dealing with. Alright, so we just completed this step here. Now we have to enable DDP, so essentially we have to tell Tasmota to listen for DDP commands over the network. To do that, super simple. Just run scheme5 in the console, and that's pretty much it. Now it's listening. So once WLAD, perfect. WLAD is then flashing. I will have to hunt for it on the network real quick. Just give me 1 second there. Unfortunately, it's not quite as convenient as Tasmota. I know Adrian, Tasmota developer, super handy when it, as soon as the Tasmota device connects to your network, it gives you the IP address. You don't have to go hunting for it. I really, really appreciate his work there. Because digging through the router through 100 devices or whatever I have now becomes a little precarious. Okay. I don't actually see it, so that's not great. I suspect there's nothing I can't show you here. See different light bulbs. This is a temperature sensor we have in a quail shed to kind of keep track on things in there. At one time, I had everything mapped statically, but it kind of got away from me. I might have to try Fing on my phone and see what that does. Alrighty. I really regret not bringing my desktop home. I could have had all this wired up for you guys to really see what's going on. So essentially, once we have WLED running, configuring the bulbs in WLED is super simple. Essentially, all you have to do is add their IP addresses, and that's pretty much it. And then WLED will provide essentially a dashboard for controlling everything you have at once. Just gonna install Fing real quick, see what we got going on. Oh, we don't have the GUI. The GUI didn't work for us, unfortunately. Alright, that's not what we want either. WLED is actually purpose-built for driving LEDs, if that was your... manually with an ESP board. But it actually, the DDP feature works really well, coordinating all that together. Sorry, Adam, I'm not sure what you mean by if that was your range. It's possible I'm close to running out of IP addresses, to be honest. The way I have it configured, I need to go back in and redo the whole network, honestly, but everything is so time-consuming. Oh. That's strange. I know. I have heard there was some issues with YouTube comments people have had in the past, but I haven't heard any issues about live chat. Maybe I just need to say to hell with YouTube and find somewhere else next time, because not being able to see people's chat kind of ruins the whole thing. Maybe I should open an IRC room or something to, for now, I don't know. Okay, I've got Fing on my phone now. Fantastic app. Totally recommend. Continue with location. Aside from the adverts, it is able to find every device on your network, so you can pretty much locate the IP address of anything you need. Moda, mobile. It's not showing up at all. I might go fetch a battery pack. I'm not sure. Oh well, I might have to leave that demonstration for next time. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to cooperate. I can, however, show off our motion switch, which is pretty sweet. let's go ahead and open the console and see see what it's up to. All right, perfect. So let me change the video source here real quick. Now this is a little janky, but so this is our new motion switch that's coming soon. Pretty basic. Just got a generic motion sensor there in the front, status LED, and a button. I think right now I have it coming in at around $16.50 per unit, and I will have discounts for bulk, so it should definitely be affordable once it arrives. It also has a daylight sensor in it. This specific unit doesn't for some reason. I think they were having some supply issues when they were sending out the samples, but she did say that when we get the actual units, they will have a daylight sensor as well, so you'll be able to tell not only motion but whether the room is lit with a window open or whatnot. So it's pretty basic. By default, I don't have the motion and the actual relay coupled together, so I set one up in a shed, and I had it set up in Home Assistant. Whenever it detected motion, it would turn on for X number of minutes and then turn off. Unfortunately, that didn't work the greatest because, stupid me, I installed it next to our heater in the shed, and so anytime the heater kicks on, these motion sensors work by detecting movement of heat. So anytime the heater kicked on, the lights would kick on. Since it's winter here and we don't want stuff freezing in there, we've got a heater. So that has not worked out the greatest. Thank you, Adam. I just got your message. Nmap. I wonder if I have Nmap installed. I know I've used it before. It doesn't appear to be showing up on the network at all. Yeah, I don't have it installed just yet. Nmap. Show you what's going on here. So essentially, this motion switch, it's so Tasmota with sensors is a little wonky, to be honest, especially binary sensors. So by default, you actually have to, in the configuration, set the sensor as a relay, or maybe it's a switch. I think it's a switch, yeah. So it can read in the status GPIO 1 or 0. And so this action on and action off is actually motion detected. I just wave my hand around it, and now if I stand still, it'll say action off. Okay, I'm going to run that command that Adam just sent me. See what it gives me. Lord knows how many devices are on my network. Okay. I'm not seeing anything WLED related for some reason, though. What do we have? We've got some light bulbs. This is a motion switch in the shed. I've got a pressure sensor, so we have a well, and I wanted to track the water pressure, so I was able to find a pressure sensor and hook it up to an ESP board, so to track the PSI, which has been pretty helpful. An old Wise Cam that I have rooted, Amcrest camera. Ooh, what's this? I don't know. It shouldn't. That range is my static range, so I can't imagine that's what it's pulling from. But we'll see. Nope, that's Open Garage. Okay, I have the Open Garage unit in the shed. Definitely recommend. So essentially, it's one unit that attaches to the ceiling. It actually hooks up with wires to the motor unit. So there's no wireless communication you have to fiddle with between the motor unit and the open garage unit. And works great. It's all local on Home Assistant. I actually had MyQ beforehand, kind of before the local home automation bug got me. And it is just a nightmare in Home Assistant, or has been in the past at least. I don't know if it's gotten any better. But every few weeks, MyQ would change their API, and so it would not show up in Home Assistant anymore for a little while. Open Garage, it's all local over MQTT. I would love to get a hold of them and sell them on my store because it's a really, really great product. It's a little pricey. I think it's $50 a door. So it's definitely an investment. Not near as cheap as MyQ can be. Smart deep fryer. Oh yeah. So it's not a smart deep fryer. I actually just have a smart plug. The deep fryer plugged into a smart plug, so that if you're, I don't know, let's say during the summertime I work at a small business about 5 miles away in the next town over, and if I wanted to come home for lunch, you know, I've only got half an hour for lunch, and it takes 10 minutes to drive here, 10 minutes to drive back. It doesn't leave you with much. So with the deep fryer plugged into, I'll just need it. Oh, there it is. It's actually, this was before I had any cloud-free plugs. So if you want to run home and drop some fries or something, it's super easy to just flip it on, let it heat up. It'll be heated up by the time you get home, and you can drop your fries and have your lunch. Works pretty handily. You can see even yesterday it got some use. I think we had some fries for supper. Oh, clever. Okay. I have not played with just using GPIO, although I'm sure it would work great. The handy thing about Open Garage, the other thing, it's using an ultrasonic distance sensor inside. So I'll pull that up. And so essentially it measures from the ceiling of your garage to to the floor of your garage, or if your car is there. So essentially it can tell whether your car is in the garage or not and provide that information into Home Assistant, which is pretty neat. Yeah, this is kind of the sensor it has going on. The other project I use this in is chicken. So we have chickens, and so I drilled some holes in the lid of the chicken water bucket that they drink out of, and so this measures the distance from the lid to the water level, and I can track how full the water is and see if we need to go out and tend to that, which has been pretty handy. All right, we're coming in on 3:30. I don't know if there's a whole lot of people here, although I did see somebody in the Digiblur Discord, which I would definitely recommend. Okay, he posted the link. Sump Pit. All right, yeah, that's another great idea. I really love these little sensors. And for $3, if you pair that with a $4 or $5 ESP board, you have a really, really cheap and local and reliable IoT solution. All right, I'm just going to wait, see if we can get any more people in here before I work on handing away this Raspberry Pi I have here in my hands. I was able to snag this thanks to a little out of focus, but there's actually a site now called RPI Locator. I don't know if you guys have been following that, but the supply for Raspberry Pis has been absolutely terrible. I assume it's all supply shortages, although it does look like they're doing a little better maybe. Typically, you might have one green line here, one store having stock, and it's in, I don't know, what's that, Czechia? I'm not actually sure, but it's never in the United States. Between Adafruit, Chicago Electronics Distributors, Newark, they all go out of stock so quickly when they do get stock, if they get stock. It's been outrageous. So I was able to use this site and snag some from, I believe it was the Pi Hut out of the UK, and have them shipped here. I was going to resell them both, But I figured, what the heck, it's spring break. I'll do a little live stream and have a little giveaway. Anything other than the new light switches. So let me go back to my board here. So I already went through, this is the motion light switch that's coming soon. Smart bulb here. Down here is actually just a dumb three-way switch we had at Walmart. Actually, I bought it from a local hardware store. Just to test three-way connections when I get a three-way switch in, which is also coming soon. I also have this little guy here, outlets. So this is a pretty neat little device. Let me adjust this a little bit. All right. Move these out of the way. So it's got two individually controlled relay outlets with a USB outlet as well. And by default, each button controls each relay. So turned off, turned on, turned on, turned off. There is not a button to control the USB port. There is actually a MOSFET that is inside turning on and off the USB port that you can use from inside of Tasmota, but it's not configured to any buttons by default. I would imagine it's not too difficult to make one of the buttons a double press to switch the USB port, but I've not played with that just yet. So that's something else that's coming. Let's see, what else do we have in the works? I don't believe it's 3.1, no. It's probably, I think it's a pretty standard, older 5-volt, 2-amp connection there. Oh, thanks, Adam. Yeah, the site redesign was done by a friend of mine, and he does an excellent job on everything he does. I'm not sure if I can give him a shout out or not. I'll have to get with him there. But yeah, much more professional look. I really appreciate having that compared to just having the storefront there like I did before. All right, so my brother, who built this nice little test bench for me, also brought me a battery pack just now to try to get this ESP32 board working properly. So I'm going to plug it in there and see if it'll power up and connect. Actually, you know what? I don't think I ever connected to the WLED board to connect it to my network. That was unbelievably stupid. Let's see here. Yep, there it is right there. It's been waiting all along. Alright, I'll put my SSID in there. In the future, I'll have my desktop brought home, and this will be a little more professional of a stream with multiple cameras. I do have a microphone. I've got a green screen behind me, but I couldn't get it configured quite properly, so we're just working with this for now. Speedy Ubuntu. I'm going to connect the WLED board to my network here real quick. I'm not sure if it has the handy new Tasmota feature where it gives you the IP right away or not. About to find out. Nope, just booted me off. Alright. I'll go back and run the handy nmap command that Adam sent me here. And find out where it is on the network. Yeah, so it says I've got 60 hosts up right now on the network. So it's definitely got plenty of load on it. Alright, I'm going to run nmap here. Let me switch over to my screen. As for other devices, I don't really have anything in mind just yet. I'd like to have an outdoor plug before Christmas time, because those are really convenient to run Christmas lights on. I've had a lot of people request downlights. It's like a can light, but it's all one unit, an LED built in that would go into the ceiling. I thought about that. That might be what I do. I'm not entirely sure yet. Okay. WLED. I assume that's what it would come up as. But if it's showing an order, it's not going to pull any IPs below 200 because that's the static range. So try to run it one more time, see what we can do. Android. Still nothing. What's this? Huh. Oh. I don't know why it defaults to HTTPS on the local network. Still nothing. Okay. Try to run Fing one more time. Alright. So, if we're going to do the Raspberry Pi giveaway, I say we do that in about 10 minutes at 350. Not exactly sure. CT bulbs. What do you mean by that, Crazy Eye? It sounds familiar. Two channel. Okay. That's not what I'm looking for then. It already has multiple, the Cloud 3 bulb has multiple channels, doesn't it? It's got red, blue, green, tunable. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I'm actually not the biggest fan, or at least wasn't, of colored bulbs at all. I just didn't see much use for them, to be honest. I suspect with automations you could have some different, status. Somebody opened the mailbox, your light bulb flashes in your room to let you know to go do that. But a tunable white bulb would definitely be great. Although the supply doesn't really seem to be there. When I've looked for suppliers, I haven't seen a lot of options with just white bulbs. Maybe I just need to do more looking. But that's definitely something to consider. I'm going to search on my phone one more time for WLED before I give up on it. $218. Beautiful. All right, now we're in business. So we're just going to go to config, LED preferences. Let me pull up side by side with the documentation here. This computer is chugging. I'm running on an old Optiplex right now. Let's see here, be in the blog section. Okay, Digi. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Because the white color range isn't exactly fantastic on color bulbs. Admittedly, mine included. And having some good... I'm not a cold white fan, but having some good warm white would definitely be something. Okay, let's see what we got here. All we gotta do is throw the IP in, which is 250. So we'll just set it to DDP. 68.0.250. And length, so since this is made for LED strips, you can put in what the length of your individually controllable LED strips are. But since this is just one bulb, we just use a length of 1. And we do the same thing for other bulbs we have. I could screw one on here and connect it. Let's just see what it does first. Go to the bottom, hit save. Beautiful. All right. Let's see if we can get some side-by-side action going on here. There we go. Shoo. All right. Getting bulbs to show up right on video is a trick. Anybody got any suggestions there? Because this is actually red. It's really hard to see though. Red to blue to green. Really just need a blank sheet of paper to put behind it. Even that doesn't show up too great. I bet if I turn off my lights up above here, that'll work. Let me do that real quick. That should help a little. It's still not great. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, let's go into effects. There it is. The police one's pretty cool. I like that one. But I guess maybe I need multiple units to really show it off. It doesn't look like it's able to use just one bulb. I'll throw together a video in the future of what I've got going up at school. Because there I've got a little more of a setup. This was kind of last minute. All right. Anything else anybody wants to discuss before we give away some pies? Yes. Yeah, Adam, that's essentially what's happening. A WLED is just sending DDP commands to the bulbs. And the bulb is, yeah. So, I mean, even relatively fast animations. So like I mentioned up there, I've got candlelight effect going on. I think after sunset it turns on, and very, very quickly it's able to dim and brighten to give the effect of a candle on all the bulbs. And even they're not even all synced up necessarily with the candle effect. It's able to do each bulb individually to kind of give off the effect of different candles. Okay, yeah, speaking of the bulbs, if you use the code March 2022 right now on the store, these are 20% off. I think that brings them down to $12 maybe. $12 or $13. I'll have to look here to be sure. But yeah, huge discount on the bulbs this month. Trying to go through some stock so I have a little more cash to get more switches, because I've got a lot of bulbs and they're not, to be honest, selling as quickly as I'd hoped. So if I could get rid of some of the bulb stock, that would give me more funds to work on some new devices. So if you need any bulbs, I can hook you up. Okay, what else we got going on? Exactly, Adam. Yeah, Tasmoda's lighting capabilities tend to be fairly basic. I know they have some. You can. Okay, to post the code publicly? Yeah, absolutely. It was in our email that we sent out, and I posted it on Twitter as well. So you can blast it out to the world if you'd like. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, the motion sensors. Let's talk about that for a little bit, actually. So I love these things so much, but unfortunately, timing is not great so far. So I probably sent a request about these. It was before Chinese New Year, so that would have been, what, late January maybe? And I got some pricing. I was ready to order during Chinese New Year, so I had to wait till I got back from holiday. And I placed my order, but now it seems I'm messaging back to the factory, and I'm not getting any reply whatsoever. So I'm guessing, I have heard they've had some COVID shutdowns over there recently, and I believe the factory is in Shenzhen, which is one of the regions that's having the issues. So hopefully that calms down soon enough, and everyone's okay over there, of course, but so we can get some motion switches in here. The one tricky thing with the switches right now is that I have, yeah, that's what I figured. Let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, so I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but if you import over a certain amount from China specifically, the U.S. tax on a 25% tariff. So, if you order $799 worth of things, there's no tariff whatsoever on them. But once you cross that 800 line, you pay 25% more on everything. So far, I've had it to where, well, what my hope is, at least, is to order a low enough quantity of switches that I can stay under that limit and pass on those savings to you guys. Unfortunately, I'm starting to wonder if the demand's just going to be too much, and I'm just going to have to place a huge order and up the price. I'm not exactly sure yet what I'm going to do on that front. Hopefully I can keep some orders coming in because it's a per day limit. So as long as I can keep orders coming in under the limit continuously to meet demand, I shouldn't have any issues. But we'll see how that goes once Shenzhen gets out of their lockdown, I suppose. All right, we're at 351. Let's see, what's the best way to do a giveaway here? Yeah, exactly, Neil. I'm not sure what other solution there would be there. That's the only thing I can think of. Alright, I've got one Raspberry Pi 2 gig of RAM and one Raspberry Pi 1 gig of RAM right here. I don't remember what they cost me, but it definitely was much more than the MSRP is on them typically. But what the heck? There you go, Joseph. Don't get made me mad at me. No, of course not. Hey, Joe. Good to have you here. All right, Digi, you probably have some input here. I know you've done plenty of giveaways. What's the best way to do this? Ah, Nightbot. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a Discord set up right now, so that's not the most convenient. I tell you what. I'll get a random generator over here and have everyone just put something in the chat, and I'll have it pick between. Yeah, crazy eye. That's definitely can be the case. Invite them to the channel and it reads the messaging. invite them to the Digi channel. Sorry, I'm not. I really wish I had some video audio going on with everybody. Okay, I got a list of participants. That's good. We can work with that. Invited to the channel. Zappy, I assume you're talking about the outlet here. Yeah. Definitely pretty neat. Yeah, I agree, Digi. I'm going to pull up a randomizer here. Oh, man, these are so jank. Oh, list randomizer. There we go. Random.org. That sounds a little more reasonable. Perfect. All right. All right, everybody who's in the chat, I'm going to throw their names in here. I'll share the screen so everybody can make sure it's legit. I don't give it away. All right. There we go. Flip of coin a few times, yeah. All right. I'm going to switch my screen over here real quick, and we'll see what we got. So I believe, haha, there's Chris. All right, I'll add you in. That's cool. All right, I think everybody's in here. So an email. Okay, that's another idea. This will work for now. I'll have to work on this in the future to make things go a little smoother. Yeah, Keith, I can throw you in there real quick. All right, yeah, no problem. All right, here we go. Let's do this. You're not. That's strange. Does participants not? There you are. Hopefully we've got everybody. If you don't see your name, speak up. Okay, did end. Digi said he's out. Joe, Joseph, Michael Neal. Keith is in there. Nexus, Crazy Eye, Zappy. I don't see Zap. There he is. Okay. All right, I think we're good. Here we go. This is for, let's first do the 1 gig model here. All right. 1 gig model goes to Cranky Coder. Congrats, Cranky. I'll run it again for the 2 gig model here. Here we go. Joseph Anthony. There you go. Congrats. 2 gig model Raspberry Pi. All right. Hopefully that was fair. I don't want to. I tried to make it fair as I could. Let's see if you're a winner, send me an email, kenny@cloudfree.shop, and I will get your address and get these sent over to you. All right. Anything else anybody wants to say before we get going? Thank you, Adam. Yeah, not exactly as smooth as I'd hoped, but next time I'll have a little nicer setup. Yeah, more streams in the future, absolutely. Since I've got this nice little test bench here going on, nice test bench. I got a green screen, got multiple cameras. For some reason, OBS was not working right with multiple cameras today for me, but on my Arch desktop I've got up at school, everything works great on it, I know for a fact. So, awesome, Michael. Thanks. I appreciate it. No, Neil. I guess I don't know about an old dude, but I try to do what I can for everybody. Oh hell, I didn't see that. Nice. Yeah, anybody who's here, subscribe. I'm not a big fan of YouTubers always including that in their videos, but I definitely appreciate it. I'll definitely be doing streams in the future. And if you want to check out the shop, just go to cloudfree.shop, and everything's there. Got a newly designed homepage here with the plug, the bulb, switches coming soon, and tons of other products here for all local home automation. So yeah, definitely check it out. Unfortunately, I don't think I can renew. I don't know if I can renew my IP. It hasn't changed since we got it installed several years ago, but we'll see. Don't bang on me too hard on my network. I'd appreciate it. Alrighty, 4 o'clock rolling around here. It's about time to get ready for supper. Hopefully it's still nice outside. I know it's supposed to start raining here soon. But if you can, get out and enjoy the weather. Yeah, when are we doing an Indiana meetup, guys? There's tons of us in here. And especially in Digi's Discord. Somebody's just got to pick a date and pick a place, and I'd love to get together and meet everybody. That'd be awesome. We can take a look at some goodies in here, maybe. Okay, Adam. I don't know. Our power was out for a few hours yesterday, so I would think if powering stuff down, although I did have it on UPS backup, so I'm not sure if it went down or not while that was going on. But flip flops in Indiana, I don't know. The high today I think was 60 something, maybe getting close. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, if you're in the Europe area, or, well, not Russia, nobody's shipping anything to Russia, we do have European-style plugs now, the Schuko F-Type. We've got them in stock here at our U.S. Store, which ships worldwide. And if you're in Europe, you can get it sent duties paid eventually once we get our warehouse functioning here. We're still kind of going back and forth getting the VAT technicalities all worked out. But if you're in the market for a Schuko plug, I can definitely help you out there. The outlet plug here, yeah, so I haven't actually been able to place an order for that yet because it's the same factory as the motion light switch, so that's still a work in progress. I'm hoping to get some orders placed as soon as I hear back from her, but hopefully that's soon. I don't know what to say more than that. Unfortunately, I don't have a hard and fast date right now on that. Right now, the main focus is the outlet, the motion switch, the standard switch, and the three-way switch. The outlet, standard, and three-way switches are all ETL listed, The motion switch is not. So depending on how much you care about ETL listings, you can make your own decision. Excuse me, there. But that is why the motion switch, I believe, tends to be cheaper for us to get a hold of. Yeah, Andalage. So we're working with a company in Ireland for some warehousing, and it's just a matter of working out getting registered to pay value-added tax for all the countries in Europe, which, from me looking in over there, is quite confusing, because here I only have to manage sales tax for a few states since I'm not a really massive store yet, which is pretty convenient. But in Europe, it's taxes everywhere in every country. So working that out has been a process, but we're getting there. Dimmers or fan controllers? No, unfortunately not. So I know you guys obviously know who me and I actually found the outlets from the Virage Labs guy in Canada. Nice guy, I'm sure. Prices were a little higher than at least I know I would have been willing to pay. So I'm hoping to get these imported at a reasonable price. And I know they did offer a dimmer, the company that sells these here. But it uses a secondary MCU, Tuya MCU, and so a lot of the fancy Tasmota features just aren't available on it, and that's kind of a bummer. So I know Martin Jerry dimmers, at least from what I've heard from Digi's community, is better. Doesn't have the secondary MCU, so that is something I might look into. Although ETL certification is kind of nice to have, just, I don't know, it makes me feel a little safer at least. But yeah, that's where I am on that. June or May? Yeah, absolutely, that'd be great. Yes, the USB is individually controllable. By default, with a template, it is not configurable with these buttons, but it can be turned on and off from the Tasmota interface. Yeah, Andalage, it's something else. Definitely not the kind of complexity I would want to have to deal with in my own country. But we're getting it worked out, I think. I just waiting to hear back on where we are in the VAT sign-up process. Yeah, I didn't even think about a tablet interface. Yeah, that would be really handy. To just have something plugged in like that. Although I think, yeah, you could probably hide the cable on your wall somehow. That would be pretty slick. I haven't ventured into the tablet wall interface just yet. I'd looked at some Fire tablets at one time, but when they went on sale, especially, I just never played around with it yet. So I don't know. I might look into it in the future. UK plug is made by Adam in the UK. He has Local Bytes store over there, which is really nice of him to set up. He has that. He's been running that for probably about 9 months now. But you can get it locally in the UK and I believe Ireland as well, if you're on that side of the pond. Anything else in here I want to highlight? If anybody needs some cables, we do have tons of stock of various cables. We did get some mini grabbers in stock now, which are amazing for flashing S31s. Picked up that trick from Digi. You can just connect the hooks. I'll have to make a video sometime. Connect the hooks to the pads on the S31 once you take it apart, and then the other side to your FTDI adapter. And the S31s flash beautifully with those. If anybody needs any kind of micro USB or USB-C cables. I actually sourced these locally from the U.S. I mean, I'm sure they're still made in China, unfortunately, but I get them from a U.S. distributor that's pretty reliable. They're pretty good quality. So Clippy Boys, yeah, that's a good name for it. Anything else in here we want to look at? Sensors. I really like the Xiaomi sensors. It's pretty handy. They're $5 a piece. You could put them pretty much anywhere you wanted to, and configure the display with a custom ATC firmware, which I know it sounds a little scary, but it's really easy. It's just kind of an upload over your phone over Bluetooth, since it's a Bluetooth sensor. And then to pull that into Home Assistant, you can either get an ESP32 board, or if you happen to have a product that has an ESP32C2 in it, you can pull those into Home Assistant that way. Or if your Home Assistant server has Bluetooth, I believe you can do that as well, although I've not tried. I would recommend using Tasmota and Blary, something else that Tony has done that works out pretty slick. In the past, I've been using ESP Home. I haven't toyed a lot with Blary, but I'm working on that now. So the Vegtrug sensor, if you've got a plant that tends to die, you forget to water it or something, could be handy. Blary, yes. Wonderful little addition to Tasmota. I also could highlight the PiKVM. So it's been a pretty popular product, really. Essentially, I know you might think, okay, let's start. A PiKVM, or a KVM in general, is made for remote controlling a server or a desktop, a computer of some sort, from afar. And typical PiKVMs are really expensive, or at least before controlling computers over a network became popular, in data centers it would just be cables running from the server room to a control room, I suppose, to control all the servers you had. Well, basically with this PiKVM, instead of remote desktop, you're able to get full access to the machine. So it controls the buttons. Here you can see the reset buttons, power buttons, the different LEDs, status LEDs. So you could totally wipe your server and install a fresh install of Linux distro or Windows or whatever you wanted, all with this PiKVM kit. It does not include the Raspberry Pi 4, which has, obviously been a struggle recently. But if you happen to have one on hand, PiKVM would definitely be a useful product for managing your server if you're ever away and you really need to figure out, why it stuck at the BIOS screen when it came back up. A curtain bot. I have not toyed with curtain control much. I looked into it for a little while. I was going to try to, I think I was watching a hookup video. Not that kind of hookup. Rob, the hookup YouTube channel. He had one that he 3D printed the gears and used a little, a little motor connected to an ESP board to control the opening and closing of his curtains. But I never really got around. I think that my 3D printer was down for a while, and the servo motor wasn't all that powerful. So I couldn't get it to work out for me, at least. But I'll definitely look into it a little more and see what I can find, because that'd be really nice. Your alarm goes off, the curtains come up, it's time to get going. Alrighty, I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say. We also have the Aqara dual wireless switch, which is kind of handy to just have on a side table if you want to control lights or turn your TV on and off. That's what we have ours set up for here at home. It kind of blends in with everything here. It's just on a wood table my mom built. You can automate it to control pretty much whatever right from your armchair. Kind of blends in nicely with everything. Slick little device. And essentially, since it's a Zigbee device, all you need to control that is a Zigbee coordinator, like this Sonoff Zigbee Dongle Plus, which I highly recommend. Alright, an hour and 15 minutes now. I think that does it for me. I don't have much else to add. So, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Raspberry Pi winners, please don't forget to send me an email, kenny@cloudfree.shop, so I can get these sent over to you. And everybody have a good day. Thanks for tuning in again.